It's time for the Mohney Show. High atop the third story of the historic Gibson House overlooking beautiful downtown Centralia. The star of the show, Steve Mohney.
Yes! Your locally owned Napa stores have the parts and service you need for safe driving. Through February, see better on dark roads with night vision headlight replacement bulbs. Save $15 on the 2-pack. Don't get stuck with a dead battery. Claim a $20 gift card with the purchase of a Napa Legend or Legend Premium battery. Start the new year off with an oil change. Save up to 42% on Mobile One synthetic oil. Wilson's Napa Auto Parts, open 7 days a week in Centralia, Chehalis, Rochester, Tenino, Castle Rock, soon in Onalaska, and at lewiscountynapa.com. And it's time for the Mohney Show. It's the first week of April. Mohney Show. With me is Matthew King. Paul's on assignment right now.
Paul's not on assignment. Paul's seeing Tim McGraw.
Okay, so Paul's seeing Tim McGraw.
Some Seattle venue. I don't remember.
Matthew has more to talk about right now than actually Paul, because you were at Mariners opening night.
Yes, I was. I went to
baseball
my first opening.
season.
It's baseball season. It's so good to be back.
With some of the weather and not this. So this show's being taped early, but we do have a nice weekend coming up. But that weekend already happened. If you're watching this right now, the late part of March was kind of rainy, kind of cold.
Yeah, we had a spell though of a nice week and
beautiful
week plus.
Weather.
It was perfect, and then of course,
so it's like 75 degrees, and then we're back into 42, 40, 48 or whatever. But you got to have the rain if you want all the the flowers and the trees and all that stuff. Anyway, give us an update about opening. It was opening night. Game time was 6:40. So tell us about the trip up to Seattle and all that fun stuff.
It was a good time. I went with my mom as a birthday gift from my brother, or a Christmas gift from my brother, pardon me, for the both of us. So it was the first time I had been to opening night, like the first day of the season. And it was a lot of fun. They lost 6-4. It was unfortunate. A couple of nice home runs brought us back, but pitching just couldn't hang up this time.
A long season.
It's a long season. They played the Red Sox. It was really cool to see some of the legends come back.
Mm-hmm.
Nelson Cruz throughout the first pitch of the season to Felix.
King Felix.
It was really cool because then he signed the one-day contract, Nelson Cruz did, to retire as a Mariner. So it was pretty cool to see that. So
give me a background of that. So he played for the Mariners from win to win, and then he went to Texas, right?
He started with Texas, and then he went to Baltimore. He played the most with Texas. He played with the Mariners for 4 seasons.
I drove past that stadium one time, the Arlington Stadium. I drove past it.
Tony is a Texas Rangers fan,
and he's been there, and he's also a Texas alumni too.
No.
Well, he lived in Texas.
I guess he's a
I
Texan.
mean, the state.
But they do have a new stadium in Texas, so you might have not been to the new one.
No, well, then I haven't driven by this. Never mind.
Yeah.
I drove by the old one.
The old one, I think, looked much nicer. This one looks like they're just put them in like a heat box. Just let them cook. It's
kind of funny how they do that.
I know. It's like, why are you putting a dome in Texas?
There was an anniversary here a couple of days ago of the Kingdom when it was built, and it was like 20. I think it was built, and then 24 years later, almost to the day, that's when they blew it up.
Yeah.
And after being in the Kingdom and watching the Mariners in the Kingdom and watching ceiling tiles fall down, I was glad they blew that thing up.
Yeah. I will say the great thing about the ballparks that Seattle has had is when you get a ticket, they're going to play.
Right.
Unless the ceiling tiles fall down, which is a rarity.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about rainouts, which is amazing. I think every baseball stadium should have a retractable roof.
And the thing about the ceiling tiles back in the Kingdom days is they had too many rock shows in there. I think they loosened them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, remember when they, back in the days of everyone smoking the big, huge Marlboro, was it the King Vision or whatever? It was one of the first big screen TVs or whatever. Anyway, that was just a billboard. So, yeah, hey, come on in, and we're playing baseball. Hey, smoke up if you got them.
Yeah, right? They didn't care. There weren't those no smoking signs. They just let everyone
man.
have
So
a
give
good
us some
time.
more information on what's going to happen this season. What do you think is going to happen with the Mariners this season?
You know, I actually wrote an article, EliSportsNetwork.com, if you guys want to check it out.
Okay.
Check out the preview. I have high hopes for this season. I think if they can get through the 162-game gauntlet and get to the playoffs, they're built for the playoffs. Really good pitching, offense. We'll see.
We'll see.
But I mean, there's a lot of fun players. Mitch Haniger played 5 seasons with the Mariners. Left last year to play for San Francisco. He's back. He actually hit a home run last night.
Okay,
Place went nuts for him. Of course, Julio Rodriguez, the face of the franchise. You don't see too many players like him. And then there's some new faces. Jorge Polanco joined the team. Mitch Garver got paid, and the pitching staff that is just absolutely absurdly talented.
So what do you think of Scott Service?
I think Scott's running low on time. I think this year's very important for him.
It probably is, isn't it?
Jerry DiPoto. It's time to put up or shut up. They broke the drought a couple years ago, but we need to take that next step.
Yeah, you have to kind of wonder. I mean, how many years has Scott been the skipper?
Scott's been there. He's got to be closing in on close to a decade
already.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, because across the road at the other stadium there was an incident. We don't necessarily want that to happen with Scott. Win.
Yeah. No. I think old Pete Carroll is looked more fondly upon than Scott Service. I think
probably
Pete's a legend just because he won one. That's all you need to become a legend in Seattle. Just win one.
Boy, we miss him in the off season, don't we?
Pete?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a Packers fan, so
what?
The Seahawks, get away. Go away.
Okay, views on this show aren't necessarily. Okay, so what do you're thinking? They're going to do mostly good most of the season.
I think playoffs are. Definitely,
I mean, you realize we've been over this several times. Over the, no, it's a long season. They're going to do fine.
Oh yeah, Matt Mohney. Your son always reminds me. They're still the Mariners, though. So every baseball season, I text him, "This is our year." And
it's our year.
He always says, "No, it's not."
No, I've got my dear friend Eric Stratton, and he's been a Mariners fan since day one. And I mean, what a supporter!
I haven't missed.
They can do no wrong.
I haven't missed a game since Ken Griffey Jr. came back for his second stint in 2009.
Really?
That's when we got a DVR. I record them all now.
Nice.
If I can't watch them live, I'll watch them after. That's what I'll do.
You don't have a VCR?
No, or a DVR, not a VCR.
Sorry, a DVR?
Yeah, it's what you record. It's like TiVo.
You should get yourself some tape.
Get some tape. Where would you get tape?
I don't know.
You find me the tape. I'll VCR you a game and give it to you.
You look on YouTube and people post stuff on YouTube and it's got the lines on the. It's like, oh yeah, nice videotape.
I've got some old Mariners videotapes from the '95 season.
Yes. That was a doozy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't alive, but I hear it was a good time.
So what else happened during opening night? You were talking about different, entertainment and stuff like that. Give us some highlights, man.
There was
really nothing, band? I guess, huh?
Death Cab for Cutie or something like that. Their lead singer sang the national anthem.
Who did?
The lead singer for Death Cab for Cuties.
Oh, okay. Oh, right on.
I hadn't heard of him, but last year I went to a game where they were honoring them all night.
Okay.
It's like their night. So I became more familiar with them. So yeah, he was there. He sang out the national anthem. There was a guy. So tridents have become huge for the Mariners.
Uh-huh.
Of course, Mariners see tridents. Right, it all works together. And last year they debuted a home run trident. When they hit a home run, they give the trident to whoever hit the home run. They raise it up and go celebrate in the dugout.
Is there any fire involved here?
All right, there's the tease. Last night, they had a guy who can dance and twirl the trident like it's a baton. You see those people do that.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a trident, and it was on fire. It came out of the blue. I don't think anyone expected us to have a trident on fire, but it was really cool. He did an excellent job. It was
this
amazing.
Down on the field?
It was down on the field.
Did we just lose the power, or what? No, somebody turned our light off right in the middle of a broadcast.
Like they did.
Hey, we're in here doing a show, man. So that was down on the field when that all happened?
Yeah, it was right by second base. They roll out the carpet for the players to run out from like center field. And so behind second base, they just had a guy with a trident on fire. I wanted to have it turn. I wanted to see if I could one-up him. They wouldn't let me.
Yeah, it wouldn't let you.
Put
So
the
were your
kibosh
seats
on.
good?
Yeah, they're. I don't think there's a bad seat in that
There
ballpark.
is
I can
not-
honestly say they're
absolutely.
spectacular.
No, you can sit way up, and it is. I can't even. I don't even know the words to say it. I mean, whoever engineered the park, I mean, the designer,
perfect.
It's like, man, they were back on again.
We got the lights.
Do we have a power failure?
I
don't
think people
so.
just turn.
Anyway, but there's not a bad seat in the entire place. I've been up there for several games.
Yeah, we'll have to get you up there for one this year, maybe.
Yeah, it's just always a lot of fun. I'm going to be across the street at. So they switch these things so much. I can't get used to it. I don't know why.
Old Lumen Field.
So Lumen Field, that used to now I don't even. Was it Quest? No,
it was Quest, and it was CenturyLink. Now it's Lumen Field. Then they got Climate Pledge now, a brand new arena.
I like Climate Pledge.
I haven't been there yet.
It's good.
Need to get there for a Kraken game, although the season's almost over.
Absolutely, you need to.
I think they do concerts there too, don't they?
Yeah,
I
saw.
Cool shows.
Oh, the most recent one saw Heart. That was on New Year's Eve. That was a great show. And then I saw the Who there.
Who?
And Who?
Who?
Yeah.
Oh,
Pete. Pete. Yeah. And the Who. And then Paul McCartney.
You saw Paul McCartney there.
McCartney
there. Show.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. No, really
good acts.
Really nice place. I mean, just you go in, convenient. It's easy to get to everything. Tons and tons of restaurants. If you're handicapped, there's elevators, easy to get in and out of. If you don't want to walk upstairs, escalators. It's just really user friendly.
I think my parents saw Kevin Hart perform there, so they're getting some stand up comics. I might be going there in May. Matt Rife's coming. I don't know if you know who Matt Rife is. He's a big social media influencer right now. Great comedian. We're going to see him. I think it's at Climate Pledge. I could be wrong.
Yeah, it's a good place. And then let's see here. Yeah. So what's the name of that place again? Across the
Lumen Field.
I got to write that down because I'm going to be going there on the 15th. I keep prancing around about this Stones show, but that's May 15th. That's coming up.
That's soon.
It's very soon.
It's April by the time they're watching.
I don't even have a ticket yet.
You should probably get one of those.
I was thinking about getting a ticket. Hey, Angela's over there, our producer, and Angela's name today comes from Angela Bowie. She was married to David Bowie for a while. I think there was, that was the 70s when everybody was, just free love. And
I support that.
I think Mick Jagger liked her, and then he wrote the song Angie, I'm pretty sure.
It was a good era.
Angie, I still love you.
Speaking of music, I was going to point this out earlier in the broadcast, but as you know, I had to go turn our lights back on. Do you know the connection, Death Cab for Cutie to Washington? They were founded in Bellingham. So
Washington music is so good.
Really weird,
pretty good. Yeah.
They're so good. I mean, you think about all the bands that have been from Washington. It's unbelievable.
And there's also a lot of stars like film people and stuff that Bing Crosby grew up and was in Tacoma and then Spokane, and that's an old guy.
Yeah. Oh, I know Bing Crosby.
Yeah, Bing Crosby.
You're gonna lose me there.
Are you sure, Matthew?
Yes.
Well, I mean that's before my time. Come on.
Do you know Chris Pratt's from Washington?
Who?
Chris Pratt? Oh, he's gonna who me. Chris Pratt, one of the most famous actors going right now.
Well, if you show me a picture, I'd know.
I'll show you a picture.
Okay.
If only you had like a computer.
Oh, it's right here.
Here.
Who else?
Here's a list of famous people from Washington.
Okay, thank you.
Are you ready for this?
The producer saves us.
We said Bing Crosby.
Right.
Macklemore is on this list.
Right.
Yeah,
well, he was just down at Chehalis here a couple of weeks ago.
Bob Barker.
So Bob Barker's actually from Seattle?
I guess.
Price is right.
I have the same birthday as Bob Barker.
Do you?
Ooh.
December 12th.
Hey,
Bob
man.
Barker and Frank Sinatra.
Nice.
Let's
Pretty good
see.
day.
Make sure you get your pets spayed and neutered.
Jim Caviezel.
No, that's Bob Barker's.
No, you're right. Drew Carey still says it. We watch The Price is Right every night. We're old married
I was watching
people.
them yesterday for a second.
Yeah. Jim Caviezel is from Washington. Passion of the Christ.
Yeah. Okay.
So Bill Gates, of course. Kurt Cobain, of course. Anna Faris is from Washington.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. So Kurt is from, Aberdeen. And what about Chris Novoselic, bass player? Now, was he? Those guys are were they?
He's not on this
from
list.
here?
He still lives local though.
And Dave Grohl.
Let's see.
I mean,
if
they
it
were,
says...
obviously that was a huge part of the Seattle grunge scene.
So
are they from here?
Christ was born in Compton, California, but I do
Okay.
believe that these days he does reside in Washington.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
so
good guy. I met him.
that's part of it. Also interesting, Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
Craig T. Nelson, which is one I didn't coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also in Young Sheldon, another show we're watching on Netflix. Rainn Wilson.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
Kenny Loggins.
You know what? I
Danger
just found that
Zone.
out the other day, that Kenny was from here.
Yeah. And that's the only other names I really recognize on this list.
Well, and Nancy Wilson.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Heart.
Speaking of Aberdeen, one of the best professional wrestlers, I know professional wrestling isn't big, Bryan Danielson from Aberdeen. So
Really?
shout out Aberdeen. They've
All
got
right.
some
Yeah.
very known talent in the world.
Well, like Cobain, it was like, what are you going to do? You go outside in the rain, or you sit in your bedroom and practice guitar? Yeah. And, you mentioned
if
Jimi
you
Hendrix.
listen to the album, Nirvana was under a bridge. Thank you.
Yeah. So you mentioned James Marshall Hendrix, Seattle. Last weekend at McFiler's Chehalis Theater was the tribute to Jimi Hendrix.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so that's so we're talking about next week. But so this coming week, we were going to talk about, you're talking about Kurt and all that stuff. Nirvana, Nevermind.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Friday, April 5th at 8 p.m. Nevermind, as you said, tribute to Nirvana band, and also Jar of Lies, which is the Alice in Chains tribute. So that should be a really cool pairing to see.
Because I checked in on these, and these are great tribute bands, and really this is the wave of the future.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to see people, do the tunes that you love, I mean, obviously we're not going to ever see Nirvana again,
right? Yeah.
But it sure is nice to hear the music, isn't it?
Yeah. No, and it's
bittersweet sometimes.
These tribute bands are real good. I mean, if you've gone to see tribute bands around that have toured even just here locally, the casino circuit and all that, they're a fun watch.
In fact, we're going to have, I'm trying to arrange it, but we're going to have a band called Almost Human on, and we'll do it. He won't be in the studio.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Chris plays Paul Stanley in this. Look it up, folks. Look this up. So Almost Human. You won't believe this. I mean, the guy that plays Gene Simmons in this band is like 6'3", so he looks just like Gene Simmons when they're on stage. I saw him for the first time at the Little Creek Casino, and then saw him a couple of weeks ago down in Portland. And these guys are fantastic. So we talked to Chris, the guy that plays Paul Stanley, and said, "Hey, would you like to be on the Mohney show?" And he said, "Yeah, absolutely." So we are arranging that, and they will have a show up in the Seattle area on April 27th. So that's going to be really cool.
Yeah.
To interview those guys and just, talk more about all this tribute stuff.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they'll have a really interesting.
But tell while you have the page up, tell me about the Tom Petty at the Chehalis Theater.
Oh, I don't have the Tom Petty one. Before we get to Tom Petty, I do want to tell your listeners here, tickets are $20 for the Nirvana and Jar of Lies tribute. They also say that they will have an unplugged set. So there will be some cello and strings mixed in there, it sounds like. So, but let me find.
Is it going to be the instrument trashing?
Oh, I don't know.
Is anybody going to bust up a guitar or anything?
I don't know.
That? Okay.
I would tell people as well with the McFiler's venue, if you want a good spot to see what's happening, you got to get there early.
Yeah, you do.
The $20 tickets is general admission, down up close to the stage.
You got to get down in the pit, right, Matthew?
Exactly. Yeah. And so which one? You said Tom Petty?
Yeah, Petty Fever.
That's coming up on a Friday, April 26th. So a few weeks away, 8 p.m. again at McFiler's.
That weekend.
Tickets for that one are $35. So a little bit higher price point. But they're an award-winning full production tribute to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame musician.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds like it's going to be a really good time, good experience.
He's not going to back down, that's for sure.
They do have, if you go to the McFiler's Facebook page and look at the event, there's a link to the website where you can get kind of a preview.
Yeah, make sure you get there early. You don't want your car to, you don't want to be late if your car breaks down. Go ahead and give it to me.
Does that qualify as a dad joke?
Yeah.
Is that
yeah.
okay?
Yeah, you got lucky when I found you. Tom always, he sings like that. You got lucky when I found you. Off Hard Promises. Yeah. And back to 1981. This is Casey Kasem.
Mm. I just never know.
Matthew's like, what is this? I'll give you some background. So, Matthew, tell us a little bit about when you were over at WSU. Now, you've known my son, Matthew Mohney, for how long?
We met in 5th grade.
Okay.
5th grade, we were in the same class. There are 3 Matthews in the same class. Right. It's chaos.
So you met him, and then you guys became fast friends. And
we were friends, yeah. We graduated high school together, and then we graduated college together from the same program. So, yeah.
Same program.
And Matt Mohney go way back.
And I also want, for folks that don't know, tell us what you do. So you're on the Mohney Show. This is on the Eli Network. But you're over on the Eli Sports Network, and you are a sports writer and a play-by-play guy. So tell us about that.
I do a lot. My official title is the director of operations. I have to schedule all the broadcasts, talk with ADs, make sure we're good to go. Everything's good on their end before we even get there.
And there's a lot of them.
There's a lot of athletic directors, and they're all awesome, easy to work with, great people. But yeah, I call games, do play-by-play for any sport that is needed.
Yes.
I write stories. I do Mariners coverage. I am looking at getting back to maybe a Mariners podcast, just a Mariners only podcast.
Nice.
And getting that back up and going.
There's a lot of stuff that we're working on with the Eli Sports Network and the Eli Network.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that'll be coming here in
and
just a matter of months.
There's a famous quote from Matthew King to Matthew Mohney. I think it went something like, well, I never thought I'd be working with your dad.
That is something I said. In a good way. Steve says it in such a negative connotation.
No, I know that. And I think one of the fun things about working with Matthew is I like to make it where he never knows what I'm going to say.
Do you remember the first time we ever spoke, Steve? You're not going to remember. It was on the rock and roll quiz. I won one of them. We got to go see the monster trucks at the fairgrounds.
Nice.
Yeah, it was. That's my memories of Steve. Is
back to 7:15. We're doing the rock and roll quiz right now here on. Brum, brum, brum.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at all. I probably have talked to you before.
Yeah, that seems like a long time ago now.
Yeah, I used to call in. What was the nighttime call in?
The request show?
Yeah, the all request. Yeah. No, it was the late one. Like I'd be in bed and I'd sneak on my track phone and call and request.
You were sneaking, weren't you?
Yeah.
I got my Sharona to play. That was my request I got on.
Oh yeah. And that's a good one, because there's 2 versions of that song. There's the single version, it's a shorter one for radio, and then there's the longer version, that's got that gigantic guitar solo in it. And I think that's the one that I lost my ass on that, because I told my middle son Aaron, I said, when you can learn how to do that guitar solo in the middle there, I'll buy you a Les Paul.
Did he get it?
Yeah, he did. He learned how to play it perfect, but I ended up getting him a Gretsch, but it was still, and I was proud of him. And it was super cool. So that's one of those good songs.
Can I tell you a story about that song?
We're chatting here, completely off topic.
I grew up with a bunch of kids who were Mormon, right? Mm-hmm. And so, there's a certain clean standard. And I was in the car with a family, siblings, all that, were Mormon kids. Uh-huh. And that song came on. And the oldest,
was I playing it or somebody else? Or
I don't even remember, but the oldest brother was like a junior in high school or something, and we're all rocking out to it and we're singing it, and all of a sudden in that moment he really paid attention to the lyrics that he was singing.
Word.
And I'll never forget we were on Twin Oaks Road, and it just hit him, and he was like, "Oh no." Have you not listened to the lyrics of that song, Matthew?
Oh, I have.
Okay.
My Sharona, folks, written by Doug Feiger, who passed away on Valentine's Day, about 12 years ago. He was just a John Lennon almost look-alike, a huge Beatles fan. And then Burton Avere, I think that's Burton. Yeah, it's Burton. Those guys wrote that song, but it was mostly Doug that wrote the song about his girlfriend. And it was also about a girl that became his girlfriend, and she still sells real estate in Southern California. You know, her name's Sharona.
Wait, does she use that in her advertising? Is that is she allowed to? Does she have rights?
She talks about it a lot. I mean, I think a lot of people know about it. I don't think she flaunts it, but you know, her and Doug were together for quite a while. They ended up splitting up, but that, I mean, if you listen to the lyrics, that's dirtier than any rap song that's on. I mean, it's just disguised.
Yeah, that was where it was hilarious watching that kid.
I mean, I know.
My dad is.
When are you gonna give me some time, Sharona?
My dad is known
my
for
motor run.
My dad's known for changing the lyrics.
Yes.
So he sang "My Scrotum."
Oh, nice.
So that was my dad. You never knew the actual lyrics. You had to get in the car and listen to the song without him, and then you could actually hear what the words really were.
One of my dear friends that we had a lot of interesting times. Got to give a shout out to Clyde Berry. He changed the lyrics to Louie Louie, and you know they were fantastic. It was just about pretty much what was going on in high school. He managed to work it all in, so that was pretty good. I'm proud of your dad for doing
Louie
that.
Louie.
Oh yeah,
the talent show, Bearcats Got Talent, or whatever it was called. I don't remember.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Of course, then you bring in. You know, were you in band with those guys?
I only did band. So my band life, I played clarinet in 5th and 6th grade, and my band teacher said, "You can read rhythm really good, you just can't play it." So I switched to percussion for 7th and 8th grade, and then I quit.
And then that was the end of it. You weren't
Percussionists unite. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Thanks, Angela.
Well, yeah, Angela's a bass player.
It's true.
Angela does it all.
Well, do you want to hear the story of how I ended up being a bass player?
Yeah, I do. Because I was going to
kind of
ask you
off
about
color.
that.
I started in 6th grade on flute, of all things.
Okay. Well, there's a...
Right. Now you have to realize where...
Were you at band camp?
That movie, American Pie, came out when I was like maybe the 8th grade. And everywhere we went, little boys be like, "Oh, you're a flute player? Oh, one time at band camp." And I could not handle it anymore. So I went from the highest instrument band to the lowest. I played bass.
Yeah.
Switched. So nobody asked me that question anymore.
Yeah. Enough's enough. Okay. So, and then you quit in 8th grade. Yep. Where do we go from there?
How do we get from opening day to here?
I don't know, but that's the joy of this show is we can actually do that. So you're friends with Colin Albert too.
Oh yeah, I've actually known Colin since before I knew Matt. Okay, we played youth soccer together.
And then Jace Peterson.
Yeah, I know Jace.
Man,
I was more familiar with Josie. She was in our grade.
Well, Jace was in your guys' class and just a rock and roll rebel.
Yeah.
In high school, and now he's a school teacher. So I saw him leading his kids out over at which one is it? Oren Smith?
Oren Smith. He works with my mom and my sister. Both of them work there.
Okay, over at Oren Smith. Yeah. Okay, he teaches 4th grade, right?
Yeah, it's 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade there.
And so here's this guy that he's and he's a teacher now. How we grow up. Anyway, okay, I think we've covered a lot of stuff here today. You had a couple of events that you wanted to tell us about, or did we already go over those?
Yeah, no, I got a couple more I could talk about. One of the things I wanted to mention as far as live music, Cloudshine will be playing at Bateau Cellars. If you're not familiar, that's the winery in Toledo.
Okay.
They do some pretty cool stuff out there, and just not a lot of people know about it.
Right.
So just wanted to mention that one. That's going to be Saturday, April 6th from 5 to 7.
Okay.
That's the other reason I like Bateau. Do you know what they did for New Year's this year?
Huh.
They did East Coast New Year. So you could go and toast at 9 and go home.
9 o'clock. Perfect. In bed by 9:30.
That's my speed.
Have you seen the parents their young kids will want to stay up till midnight, and they'll just show a YouTube video of the ball dropping, and then it's really 8:30.
Oh, that's funny.
And so they get to the camp, and then the kids are ready for bed.
I would 100% do that to my children. No shame.
Genius.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
So I wish I had thought of that back in the day when I had my kids. So what you do is you record something, and then you put it on.
Yeah, you get the previous years, I guess, ball drop, and someone will edit it to make it the.
Oh yeah,
I love
no,
it.
and like I think
you
PBS
done
Kids
that?
and Nickelodeon. I haven't done that in particular, but I would not put it past myself.
No.
That's 100%.
I mean, especially, you know what, maybe you should do that this coming year because by this December 31st, you're going to have 3 boys.
Yeah. And you're talking to the mom who pays children to egg her yard for her so that I don't have to do it.
I know. You were telling me about that. So did you do that this year?
Yeah, I booked the electric dance company. They come and they're going to put 75 eggs in my yard, and all I have to do is go stand on the porch with my cup of coffee Easter morning.
What are these real eggs or these plastic eggs?
They're plastic with prizes. My kids
When
won't
she
eat
said
hard-boiled
egg
eggs.
her house, I thought she was paying people to throw eggs at her house. I'm like, why would you do that?
Yeah, well, she's doing.
No, I got you now.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
we're on the same
Tracking.
page.
They're egg in the house, and they're also, she paid. It was $10 extra for the toilet paper.
You're right.
Thrown up, and your husband's like, "What the hell is this?"
Don't tell him I paid for that. That was just for giggles,
Oh,
He's got to
we
deal
won't
with
know
it.
now. Did the kids watch the broadcast?
They've seen parts of it because I edit it when I'm at home.
Right.
And so, my kids have been in here when you've been recording. They're
Right.
like, oh, it's Steve and Paul.
It's funny. One day, was it Owen that was sitting over in the corner? Yeah. And I I'm deaf, so I can't hear anything.
Yeah.
And,
He had his tablet. You won't hear him at all when he has his tablet.
Oh yeah. Well, there's not a kid alive that you can't hand a device to and go, I'll see you in like 6 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, except do you know what mine's playing?
Huh.
Train games.
Nice.
Yeah, So
You guys are going, spring break is this week. So it's the 1st through the 5th, and the kids go back after the weekend. But you're doing something fun, aren't you?
we are. We're going to drive a little over 5 hours south, and we're taking the kids to a place called Train Mountain. And
Matthew, you've got to go there. Do you like trains?
I'm not a big train guy.
Okay, well, you
I don't
like this.
dislike trains.
This is like, you're going to ride. This is live steam, isn't it?
Yeah, we're hoping the live steamers will be open. There has to be volunteers there and everything. But I have to tell you, I told my husband what your reaction was when I told you. Do you remember? I was like, I'm going to Train Mountain, and you looked at me and you went, you bitch.
I know. Because I've been looking at it online for a long time, and I really want to go, and I haven't made it there yet. So,
well, we'll take pictures. We'll tell you all about
take
it.
pictures, and we'll post those pictures and maybe some video or something like that.
Maybe we'll edit Steve into some of them. Who knows?
Oh, we could. I could Photoshop you in on a steamer or something. Yeah,
look
or a
at that.
caboose.
What's that guy? Wait, he's taking the trains away from the kids. What's he doing? Get out of there. Yeah, we'll have some of that on the broadcast. Anyway, we got to take a break right now. We've got more stuff coming up, so stick around, stay close, and welcome to the first official week of April. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, Matthew and Angela. Angie! Yeah, Mohney Show back after this.
Tires got you stressed? Before hitting the road, be sure your tires are up for the ride. Visit Point S Tire and Auto now and save up to $200 on a set of tires during our Spring for All tire sale. Spring for All means you can save up to $200 on all our top brands, like Falcon, Hankook, Nokian, and Nexen, now through April 6th. Ready to stress less about tires? Shop the sale today at pointstire.com.
No stress with Point S.
The spring sale is on right now at Centralia, OK Tire Point S, 1741 Harrison Avenue in Centralia. And we are back with the Mohney Show. Paul was on assignment,
yes.
Although Matthew King said you weren't on assignment. You're fiddling around. but Paul, stop.
You gonna make it, buddy?
I don't want that in there, so we're restarting. I didn't read my commercial here.
Okay.
Restart.
And we are back with the Mohney Show. Matthew King said that you weren't on assignment, but I said that you take 2, take 3.
Take 3.
I'm sorry. Holy moly on a popsicle stick here.
It's an outrage.
Okay, it is an outrage. We are back with the Mohney Show. Thanks to Matthew King for sitting in for assignment Paul Walker.
Well, yeah. Well, he had lots to talk about, right? You got the whole baseball season covered.
Oh, man. Great opening night, although they did lose.
Yeah. but they have bounced back, I think, with 2 or 3 wins in a row.
There we go.
Something like that. Something crazy.
Yeah, so you were on assignment.
So I was on
and you're going to tell
assignment.
us about that
Yep.
in just a second here. So we do have some really cool sponsors that I would love to tell thank you to. So
Yes, absolutely.
the broadcast brought to you in part by John L. Scott. If you need information you can trust about buying or selling in this market right now, there's a lot of questions about interest rates and just home housing prices and all that stuff. Laura Lee Zuber at John L. Scott has the information. All you have to do is stop by there at 500 West Main in Centralia, and she'll give you really honest and good information to work with.
Of course.
It's confusing to me, and I've asked her over the years.
Whether it's buying, selling, commercial property, just investment property,
Exactly.
all that stuff. I mean,
If you're
from A to Z, it's Laura Lee Zuber.
Well, and as you pointed out, if you're watching this, out of the area here, you're watching it out of the state. She has the information. If you're thinking about moving here, if you'd like to know what the schools are like and all that type of stuff, or investment property, vacation property, maybe in the Upper East End, she's got the information on that as well. Also brought to you by Napa Stores in Centralia, Rochester, Chehalis, Tenino, Castle Rock, and now open. It is open out in Onalaska.
Officially.
Yes, officially. Find the parts that you need at those locations, and they will have them ready for you when you call or you go online. Go to lewiscountynapa.com for all the information on that. And we will also be broadcasting again shortly from Napa out in Alaska. And as of right now, the big filter's on sale. Save up to 40% on all Napa Gold filters. That's a big deal, Paul.
It is.
This is 40% off of anything I'm going to buy, whether I need it or not.
Yeah. So it's what you're going to do is buy stuff for a car you don't own.
Yes.
And do you know what a filter is?
No.
Okay.
But I'm going to buy them.
That takes care of that.
I don't even drink coffee, so someone said there's a coffee filter. I don't know what that is.
So, no, you wouldn't you can't use an automobile filter for a coffee machine.
Have you tried?
No, but I will try.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bad idea.
Are you?
I'm thinking about putting. Can I? Never mind. I'm just not. I don't want to ruin this.
Are you? Just be quiet.
I'll be quiet.
And I've had about 4 or 5 conversations with Paul in the last 4 days, and they all start out and they're pretty knowledgeable, and then they just go out the window.
It just falls off a cliff.
It's crazy. Do you have the information, or do you have time now to tell us what you were doing when you're on not vacation but on assignment?
On assignment. Not only I was on one, I was on 2 assignments.
You were on assignment.
I was.
Oh, you were.
Absolutely.
Well, what was it?
Friday, Tony and I, we headed up north. We stopped off at Emerald Downs. We had a nice chat with our friend Joe Withy.
Joe's a good guy.
We've got the preview of Emerald Downs story coming up here in the next week or so. So I had a chance to talk with him about the current state of affairs and what's happening there, and also talk with the media director up there, Vince Brune. Vince, great guy, but some changes in the wagering.
Oh, really?
Which is going to benefit the bettor. More money is coming back when you win.
Oh, really?
He's going to explain how that works.
So now, when does Emerald Downs officially kick off?
May 4th. That is Kentucky Derby Day.
I just love spring.
Yes. Kentucky
you
Derby Day.
You got baseball, you got horse racing, you got all this stuff.
Yep. And so they're only open on Saturday, May 4th. They did that last year, and normally they run at least Saturday and Sunday, but they just run on the first Saturday.
Okay.
Then the next week they run Saturday and Sunday. I think they do that for 2 weeks, and then Memorial Day weekend they start with their 3 days a week. And then through June and into September, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So I want to ask you about this.
Yeah.
You were talking, and there's a possibility that you might call a horse race.
I may get a chance to call a race this year. So
that's going to be fun.
If not, I'll just stand at the top of the stands and yell one. So
you can do that either way you want to do it. So any new developments? I've had quite a few people to watch the Mohney show ask about frog acres again.
I talked to my brother last night, and he's going through the Peterman archives to look up to see if we have some pictures. And if we do, we'll bring those in, and we'll be able to share them
Who's on board today? Michelle?
This is Angela.
Oh, Angela. Michelle was last week. Angela is here.
See, and so Angela, actually, sometimes we call her Angie, but Angela Bowie.
Okay.
So that was Angela Bowie, and then Mick Jagger liked Angela, but he couldn't tell anybody, so he wrote the song Angie. Angie.
Okay.
In Matthew's segment, I was singing the song too, and he was just.
Speaking about singing songs, so then that was only part one of the assignment on Friday.
I know, man. This is the big one here.
And after that, we went further north to Climate Pledge Arena, and we took in the Tim McGraw show.
How was it?
Well,
first of all, how did you like Climate Pledge?
I like Climate Pledge. It was interesting. It's interesting to get down on the floor. You can only do that through a couple of ways, yeah. And then if you have a beverage in a can, they make you pour it in a cup, and you can't take the can out onto the floor. I guess they're afraid someone will throw it at someone or something like that.
Yeah,
so
you wouldn't want to do that in a hockey stadium.
Oddly enough, by the time I went up, got my can of beverage.
Yeah.
Halfway down, and by the time I got back down, it was over half gone anyway.
Yeah.
So
then you have to turn around and walk back up the stairs and go pee.
Well, no, you don't. There's downstairs.
Is there?
Yeah.
Where were they?
They're right in the back corner there. Then I found out they sell beverages on the floor, no food.
Okay.
So we did get the nachos.
How were they?
Chicken nachos.
Oh, whoa!
I was pleasantly surprised.
How much were they? 30, 35?
Well, let's see. 2 large adult beverages.
Yeah, those
cans,
16 apiece,
and a nacho was about $52.
Yeah,
something like that. So
and you have the choice. I mean, you can
but
either,
fortunately,
not eat it.
Yeah, fortunately, I had a couple of Burger King double cheeseburgers on the way up, which we weren't all that hungry, so we didn't need to
That's
eat
good.
There,
and I wonder what would happen if you're coming in and they're searching you, and they come across a couple of cheeseburgers from outside.
Well, hey, first of all,
it's going to be a situation.
First of all, there's no chance of a cheeseburger making it from the restaurant all the way to there without it being eaten. So
that's true.
That's off the table. Secondly, I had my wallet, and I didn't even have my phone because the tickets come on our phone, and I have no idea how to. So Tony takes care of that.
Yeah,
I don't know how to do it. So I had, and he actually all I had was my wallet. I didn't buy car keys.
I will say the stress level, and I know they don't agree with this, Ticketmaster and all that stuff, or but the stress level really goes up when you're wondering if your battery is going to go dead on your phone, or if you're not going to get Wi-Fi or whatever. I just it's very stressful. In fact, when we went to the KISS show up in BC, for some reason we weren't able to sign on to Ticketmaster. And so eventually we had to go to the ticket booth. I told you this story before, and get hard tickets. And it felt a lot better going in. I mean, I'm not trying to be like some geezer, but it's just like, oh man,
Well, I like the ticket stub. There's something for you to keep. And now you got to print the ticket stub.
I think the Paul McCartney show, we had to get a different phone. Mine went dead. They loaned me a phone to go online.
Well, then you got to know all your passwords and stuff to get on. I can't do that.
I don't know. I think my password's like Dick's Burgers or something. I don't know. Anyway, tell us about the show.
So the show started off with a group called Restless Roads.
Okay.
It's a trio and a drummer, but apparently the drummer is not part of the band because he was never introduced. The 3 guys have been together but they sounded great. In fact, Angela, I believe, will be. We may be looking into them for a Music in the Park appearance.
Really,
in the future, I would say they would be do very well here for that.
I think we found a couple of different ones for maybe next year.
Yeah, I think so. Exactly. Carly Pierce was next. I think she was on The Voice. I don't recall if she won it, but she did very well on The Voice. There was a really special moment with her.
Yeah.
One of her fans, a super fan from California, 14-year-old, had a sign.
From California?
From California. Flew up to see her. And the sign said, "My dream is to sing a song with my favorite singer of all time." And then Carly said, "Come on up."
Nice.
14-year-old goes up there, and so
how was it?
Well, she goes, her goal is she wants to be a songwriter,
Uh-huh.
and that's probably the better route for her to go. She knew every word,
Right.
but I mean, the singing was
how about vocal lessons?
But nonetheless, she wants to be a songwriter, and that's a good, good way to go, no doubt in that business. Tony and we were doing some updates, and that's going to be on next week's show.
Okay, so
we'll have a full report. We did an opening cut.
Full report next week.
Tom and Natalie were sitting behind us. And so we got them in on the podcast. And then after Carly Pierce came out, there was a break. And that's after the young lady went up and sang with her.
Right.
And so I went and used the restroom and came back. And I go, I think I'll go over. She's not too far from where we're sitting. Went over there. And I says, let's interview her. So we have an interview with Sydney, the 14-year-old.
Wow.
And her mom. And they're waiting for this edition to come out because I said I'd send them a link to it. So she was just like, it was a fun interview. So we did that. And,
that is very cool.
Got some clips of the show as well. And so, next week I'll be sending those to you, Angela, and you can, in fact, I'm just going to give you my phone and you can figure out how to put it all together. So
she knows how to put it together.
Exactly. So we'll have the updates and the cuts that we had from there. It was a good time. Tim McGraw, great entertainer, absolutely hilarious at times.
So tell us about he apparently has three daughters.
3 daughters. Yes, he comes out and he says, "Well, if you haven't been to one of my shows before, I don't really talk a lot." He goes, and and the thing is, I like to sing and have a good time. He says, but really, well, I'm married with 3 daughters, and frankly, I don't get a chance talk a lot, and when I do, no one listens. So yes, he goes, he comes out and it's we like stupid humor.
Oh yeah.
So he goes, how many people have been to one of my shows? And there's a big how many people haven't? Oh, we got a lot of Tim McGraw versions here tonight. And then he goes, hi y'all, I'm Tim. So
I think they know that. They bought the ticket.
Yes. He goes, I think we're supposed to go around and have everyone introduce themselves, but I think that'll probably take too long. Right. So we'll just get into sang almost, I mean, he's got too many hits to sing them all.
Right.
He just
Absolutely
does. And there were some people that wanted to hear some songs and it was, I'll tell you what, this was not a sit on your stool with a guitar, singing the blues, my dog died and
up-tempo
it was a really up-tempo show.
Cool.
It was a lot of guitar, a lot of bass in it. And he did a version of, stunningly out of the blue in the middle of it all. You would have never I would have never thought that.
What did he do?
Tiny Dancer.
Elton.
He just went, no explanation why or anything. It was just like the next song. He just went right into it. He's doing Tiny. Okay.
What's Elton doing there?
It was
maybe
good.
A tribute to Elton.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So great
absolutely.
show.
Yep, great show. Great show. Great seats.
How many minutes did he play, do you think? A couple of hours? Or?
2 hours, yeah. I mean, the whole thing started just before 7.
Okay, wow.
And there's
early.
two openers.
Okay.
So the first opener, and they literally went maybe 20 minutes.
Okay.
But then Carly Pierce, I think, went about 50 minutes. So that was a good, chunk. And then it wasn't too long. It was just after 8 when he got on and started, and it was a little after 10 when it was over. So.
And things are heating up all summer long, all spring long, as far as concerts go. I'm glad you got to get up to Climate Pledge. You hadn't been there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And I told you, I found the secret to parking there.
Oh,
yeah, I got the secret parking spot.
Yeah, but if you tell, then
I'm not telling.
Okay, good. Yeah, well, I
don't
want to know.
I'm not telling.
Well, don't tell. Stone's coming up. I got to talk about that at some point here.
We do. A couple other things on the music thing. Music in the Park for 2024, July 19th, 26th, and August 2nd. 100% now. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Good.
We're going to announce it on next week's show, Wednesday. What is that? What date is that? Angela.
Let me mark that down. Wednesday? I don't know.
The 10th.
The 10th.
April 10th.
Oh, the 10th.
April 10th, 4/10, we will release all of it. We'll release all 4 or all 3 shows, what we're doing, and then we'll talk about it on the show as well.
I'm not sure if we can do that on the 10th.
Why?
Because that's the day that Paul McCartney quit the Beatles.
Well, we're going to talk about it because there might be a tie-in to that, and
you think so?
He may be coming back on the 10th.
Really?
Yeah, I'm just telling you.
I don't think you should say that out loud. You said Paul McCartney was coming. No, Paul McCartney is.
Hey, I'm just saying.
Oh, by the way, I keep having these crazy dreams about Keith Richards.
Oh, boy.
I think it's just that I'm getting excited about the Stones coming.
Yeah, I think so.
And you won't even let me talk about them.
Well, you don't have a ticket yet. You're working on it.
I'm going to get a ticket.
You have to decide where you want to be. That's where we are right now.
I'm going to be on the floor somewhere. It's going to be exciting. I just hope it doesn't pour down rain.
Well, yeah.
But it's going to, it's in May, but we've had nice weather so far.
We've had. Yeah, exactly.
We've got some stuff coming up at the end of this week. We'll talk about that. We're going to take a break right now, regroup. So stay right there. It's the Mohney Show. The real estate market is changing, and John L. Scott can answer your questions with a free market analysis. If you're a homeowner, it's really important to get a current market analysis. It only takes a few minutes of your time and contains valuable information about your biggest investment. This might be the year to make a move and take advantage of this market. For your free market analysis, see Laura Lee today at John L. Scott, 900 West Main in Centralia. We are back on the Mohney Show. Paul Walker's with me. Hey, I'm glad you had a good time at Tim McGraw.
Oh, absolutely.
And I can't wait to do. I can't wait to do more concerts. One that I just heard. These guys were going to hit the road a couple of years ago, and then COVID happened. The Stray Cats.
Oh yeah,
I did see on the road, and I'd love to go see Brian Setzer and the other guys. Of course, you've got Foreigner, you've got Doobie Brothers, you've got all these different acts. Sammy Hagar is out there as well, and then just a ton of other venues and acts all over the place. So I'm really excited about music in the park. You just mentioned that a couple of moments ago. That's one of those things where you don't have to drive 90 miles.
No, or pay anything.
It's absolutely free.
Yep.
And hopefully you can get a hot dog from the Rotary Club as well.
Maybe a burger this year. I know Angela's working on that, so
we're talking.
She's got connections there.
Okay, so coming up, I did want to talk to Angela about. You got anything?
The only one thing I'm going to say about music in the park right now.
Yeah.
2-time Grammy winner.
I know.
That's it. I'm not saying anymore.
I want to say something right now, but...
And I'm going to say one other thing. August 30th, we will have another big concert review.
Oh, I know we will. Well, not August 3rd. Oh.
August 30th.
We'll be at the concert on August 30th,
yes,
right?
But afterwards, we'll definitely have the review.
Hey, listen, don't bring me down right now. Okay?
That's right.
Okay.
ELO, the final North American tour. Coming through.
I'm turned to stone.
And we're going to talk way more about that
I'll tell you what. I mean, he blew me away the other day. He calls me up and he's like, "What are you doing on August 30th?" And I said, "I don't know. I have no idea what I'm doing on. Well, don't make any plans." I never, ever thought that I'd get to see Jeff Lynne. Now, one thing about it is, and I forgot to tell you this, it's been almost 20 years ago, but I did have a conversation. I got to stand there and talk with Jeff Lynne.
Ooh.
Yeah, when I was down in Vegas, and because we were the ones that were asking, "What's the deal with the Wilburys thing, man? Are you guys gonna release this thing, or what's going on?" Because the Traveling Wilburys record came out, Handled with Care was a big, huge hit, and all the rest of them, and then the Roy Orbison estate, from what I understand, there were some issues with with all that, how it is, with the record companies and everything. So they were trying to get that straightened out and get the thing on CD. You couldn't get it for a while.
Yeah.
And then they included like a small documentary that went with that, and that's who we were talking to. So he was a super guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just a really nice guy. So anyway, that's going to be a fun show.
Yeah. There is a ton of music this year. It's going to be another summer of music for Tony and myself.
Well, people are
We've got others lined up. We're not sure when, but we're pretty sure. I think it's July 20th, the day after the first Music in the Park.
Okay.
I think we're headed up to White River, Hootie and the Blowfish, and Collective Soul opening for them.
Oh, man.
Yes. So I think we're doing. I think we're going to do
I've
that
seen
one.
Collective Soul like twice, man.
Yeah?
They're gasser. It's great.
Yeah.
And Hootie, man.
Yep. I think that's
Okay,
definitely
good.
on the list. By the way, Doobie Brothers, I thought we're going to be here in Western Washington at White River and Ridgefield in June. It looks like that got moved to September now.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So they're like September 4th or something like that.
Okay.
But I tell you what, some really reasonable tickets to see something like that. And
well, the other thing is I've noticed, just kind of scan on the dial on radio, a lot of the classic rock stations are playing a lot of Foreigner. Everybody wants to see Foreigner get into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So vote.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that go, I don't care. I don't care about it at all. Okay, so we've got to move on here.
Yes, let's do it.
A couple of things that are happening this weekend. Man, all of a sudden there's just, it's spring has sprung.
Yep.
And things that I like to do. The Portland Swap Meet is this Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Portland Expo Center and also at that big Portland racetrack. It was right, the dog racing track was right in that area.
No, the horse racing track was.
I thought it was.
That was Portland Meadows. The dog racing track was on the other side.
Yeah. Well, years ago though, they would let you park at the dog racing track.
No, the dog racing track was like on the other side of the airport. It was well away from the horse track. That was the car track, and it was the car track and the horse track were next to each other.
Okay, so we parked at the horse track.
Yes, and then over the.
All right, then we had to get on a bus and go over to the.
Yes.
Anyway,
now it's like an Amazon distribution center.
There you go. So
whatever it is,
that's too bad.
Yes.
And you are the authority on that.
Yes.
I think I saw you in the parking lot a couple of times. That was a long time
ago. You got 5 cents.
Oh, we wagered too much. Anyway, big Portland Swap Meets this Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Expo Center and at the racetrack as well. It's always a lot of fun. You can find a Matchbox car. You could find an empty jar of Ovaltine, or you could find a 67 Z28. I don't know. You can find anything.
Right.
Are you looking for anything?
No, I'd like to get a jar of Roundtine, though.
Okay. Angela, are you there?
Yes.
Your kids and your family will be interested. I know you already know about this. You might be back from Train Mountain by this time.
It's possible.
So this Saturday and Sunday at the Southwest Washington Fairgrounds, the Lewis County Model Railroad Club having their big swap meet. And the word I get is that there's no more room for any more vendors sold out.
Wow.
Probably not. It's a big
show.
It's a big show. They have, half of the blue pavilion is usually vendor tables.
Yeah.
And then kind of the other half a lot of times is displays.
Huge displays.
I mean, they've had I think it's the model, the Lego train club that comes from maybe like the Puyallup area, I want to say. There's, the Lewis County Model Train Club has their own layouts there.
Yeah, the ones that have their display at the museum.
Yes, and
those
at the fair.
That's them.
Yep, and I mean, you'll see everything from, you're a standard gauge guy, right?
I'm an O gauge guy.
O gauge. Yeah. So you'll see everything from standard all the way to N and Z scale and all the teeny tiny.
Z is like as big as, isn't it like about that big?
Oh, it's crazy. They have these little, like, smaller than a briefcase, and they fold them open in their entire layouts with multiple trains. It's crazy.
We could put a whole, well, I guess with N gauge, you could put a layout right on this desk here.
Yeah.
But Z is like crazy small.
Very
anyway,
small.
buy, sell, trade. Walk in there with maybe a Chevy 350, and you can trade that out for an SD 45 or something like that.
What?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't know how many Chevy guys are at the train show, unless it's one of the little models you put like on the track. Like,
okay, you can. Well, anyway, you can.
So let me get this straight.
Yeah,
you're going to Train Mountain.
Yes.
And then you thought a good idea is to hurry back so you could go to another train.
Well, she may or may
How
not.
much train can you Can you get in one weekend? Is
Oh,
what it
we
appears.
got a lot planned this week. I mean, I've found another on the way to Train Mountain. We'll be hitting another train museum and
Nice.
another static train display.
She's got
and
boys. They like trains.
they do. This is our.
It's a good hobby.
I didn't say it wasn't. That just seems like a lot of trains.
I mean,
in a
Paul's
few
right.
days.
It's an expensive hobby.
A lot of trains.
We give our kids the money and have them go ask people instead of us because the old guys like to give them better deals than they give us.
Yeah,
as the
exactly.
Oh, the old
Oh
trickery.
yeah,
I
I've
like
had that
that.
happen before. Here, go ahead and take this right here.
Yeah. Train says $40 on it. Here's a 20. Go bat your eyelashes.
Yep. They want the hobby to continue.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important because there's a lot of kids that we're doing this,
Yes.
and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you have to know that really nowadays if you want to get a job, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
But trains are fun too.
How come there's no train video game?
There are.
Oh, there are.
There's massive train video games.
My kids spend hours. When I left
See?
my house this morning,
Yeah.
my
I never
kid.
saw one at Four Quarters. Next to
What,
next
what,
to Galaga.
what year do you live in?
79.
When I
Just gotta
left
stay
I
there.
was going to say about
It's
that.
easier.
I'm
When
sorry,
I left my
Angela.
house this morning, no, because you'll enjoy this. My youngest was going, Mom, my train's going 127 miles an hour because we're going down a hill and I made it too big. And you could just hear him on the whistle, like he's helping things. I don't know.
Runaway train, right?
Yeah.
See, that's good stuff right
That's
there.
a great spring break morning.
But with the video game, you can't do like we did when we were kids. You set up a train and you purposely run it at the high. You can't do this with HO because it generally doesn't fall off the track. But with O gauge or the Mark stuff, the really old stuff, you can run it as fast as you can get it going, and then put a corner in there, and it just flies off.
Yep. Oh, you can do that
Nor
with
can you
HO
set
too.
it up outside
Yeah,
on a board.
right.
It's going around, and then pick up frogs and put in the train as passengers.
Did you do that?
Of course.
God, that's genius. You've had some very good
A lot
things.
of
I mean,
frogs.
was
There's
that
a lot of frogs.
There must have been a lot of wildlife around your house.
There's a swamp back there.
Did you ever tie any frogs to the track? And
no, but we're trying to get a snake to come across, see if we could run over it.
I was going to say a
Could never get
damsel
one
in
to-
distress.
Never get one to do that.
Anyway, the train shows this Saturday and Sunday. Let me put my glasses on here. And Saturday 10 to 4, Sunday 10 to 2. And admission is still $5 per person, children 10 and under free, and free parking as well.
All right, that's a deal.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
what, and I
absolutely.
hope to come back from the Portland swap meet and hit the train show.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. You know you get the better deals on Sunday, right?
Yeah, can I borrow your kids?
Sure.
You've got grandkids.
I don't know what they're doing. I gotta, if I get the really small one, maybe Ezra, I can bring him in. He's 4.
Maybe you could just. You have some of your old clothes from middle school. You could just wear those and try to.
Hi. Boy, the guy would go, boy, you look like a punk. Hey, get the hell away from my trains.
Yeah, you can borrow my youngest. You just put him in some overalls and an engineer hat, and he gets all the deals.
And then I can just go up there and go, yeah, I was hoping I could get my kid to, continue with the hobby. But we don't have any money.
I will add too to that point, I have a kid that's, my oldest is on the autism spectrum, and you will not meet nicer or more patient people than the train community.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm serious. I mean, they let Owen drive the trains because he understands the switches and he knows all the, they are the most awesome people.
Yes.
So take your kids. It's amazing.
Well, they have a scavenger hunt too.
Oh, do they?
On one of the layouts. So they give you some paper, they give it to the kids, and then there's a list of like animals that they want them to find on the layout, and they've got all this stuff hidden. This layout's like huge. It's like 12 by 26 or something like that. And and one of the creatures on the layout that they have to find is Bigfoot. So and when you mark it down, and then they check it off, did you find them all? And I mean, the kids were going nuts. They thought this was just great.
Yeah.
And then at the end of it, they get like prizes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So yeah, it's really, it's going to be a fun time. Paul, I wouldn't recommend you. You hate trains. There's no horse racing track.
Are there any frogs on any of those trains?
No, but there should be.
Exactly.
You know what? I like that. The next train layout, I've got some tree frogs.
There you go.
Yeah, you want
those salamanders? Throw it in there. Throw it in the Tonka truck and let it run over the track so the train comes through.
Man, you're bringing back my childhood. Okay, we've wrapped enough here. Paul, thanks for the update on the Tim McGraw Show.
Absolutely. More coming next week.
Yep, we've got more pictures and more actual video and some interviews as well.
Yep.
That's the Mohney Show. And a reminder again, Napa's open out in Onalaska. Congratulations to Dave. That's his 7th store. Hit it. Go out there. They've got their big filter sale going on until the end of April as well. So that's the Mohney Show. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
You got it.
At Tyler Rental, quality equipment and helpful counter pros save you costly delays. For projects big and small, Tyler has Genie man lifts and forklifts, Deere excavators, welders, and generators, plus new tools from Steel, Milwaukee, and Hilti. While you're in the store, shop for hard hats, safety glasses, gloves, hearing protection, and much more. Contractors and homeowners depend on Tyler Rental for selection and well-maintained equipment to avoid downtime. Tyler Rental, 153 Hamilton Road, south of Chehalis.